opening questions.
Thank you. Again, thank you all for your testimony. I appreciate you being here and to talk about such an important issue. I want to turn to Commissioner Schroer first, and maybe last, because I would like to hear your state of Tennessee has, I think I counted 9 interstate highways running through it. Now, I'd like to think that since 81 runs through Pennsylvania, that it's as important to your state as it is mine, but I'd like for you to talk about that, how important it is, and maybe some of the other roadways through your state. Where are you going to, in Tennessee, where are you going to focus your dollars? It would seem to me, if I was a DOT commissioner or secretary, I'd focus on where I'm going to get the best bang for the buck. But knowing that 81, again, I go to 81, it's important to Pennsylvania. Not sure. I think it's pretty important to Maryland, but they have 18 miles of it, so they don't have a whole lot of money that they have to spend to widen it. So again, you've got so many interstates coming through your state. Can you tell me which are the highest priority? Where's 81, for instance, on the priority list, and what are the low priorities, which may affect other states if they're not a priority going through your state?
I can assure you 81 is one of my top priority interstates.
Thank you.
As you said, we have 9 interstates. We have over 1,000 miles of centerline interstate roads running through Tennessee. It's a pretty broad but not very tall state. But one of our most important roads, except for 81, is I-40, and it goes all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast and carries a huge amount of traffic. The truck traffic that's on I-40 is significant. And carries a whole lot of commerce throughout the state. 65 north-south, 24 same way. And we have to spend those dollars that we have to maintain and to increase any capacity that we might need on those roads. But those roads are all important to the state of Tennessee. I do want to bring attention to another interstate that's just sort of beginning in Tennessee, and it's I-69. And I-69 goes from Detroit to Texas. It is considered a road of national significance. We have received over $350 million in earmarks on I-69, and we have put those to good use. We are currently working on an area around Dyersburg in northwest Tennessee for a loop around that city. We've done a lot of work on that road in Memphis, but there's a 70-mile stretch south of Dyersburg to Memphis that runs through farmland that is much, much more important to the whole corridor of I-69 than it is to the state of Tennessee. It is the cost of about $1.5 billion for this 70 to 75-mile road. It's a road project that now has to compete with every other road project that we have in the state of Tennessee. And we rank roads on prioritization from safety, congestion, and economic development. And quite frankly, I-69 doesn't reach any of those parameters. So it's a road that we will have a hard time funding and completing without some federal investment.
And what it sounds like is, quite frankly, you're not going to spend your precious dollars on a roadway that isn't that great a benefit to Tennessee. But if I'm right, 69, I think, crosses through 8 states. And Texas, for instance, I've been to Texas, I've been to Indiana. I know it's important to Indiana and Michigan. But there'll be a missing link in 69, not because you don't want to build it, because you can't afford to build it. And so that brings me to a perfect example of what the Interstate Highway Program is all about. And I think, I don't want to steal Mr. DeFazio's thunder or his visual, but the state of Oklahoma and Kansas, sounds to me that could happen. 69 could, over the years, be built, and all of a sudden there's 70 miles in Tennessee that you're not going to build it unless the federal government contributes to it and gives you a push or an incentive, and that's the money part. Is that accurate?
We will have a hard time putting $1.5 billion in that road as it competes with all the other roads across the state of Tennessee. Right. And if we do, it'll take a long, long time to do it. And without that link or any other links on 69, it's not an effective roadway for the country. And I think that's an important road for the United States, especially the north-south traffic.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome very much.
Yield back.
The chair notes the presence of our colleague and good friend, Mr. Larson. We appreciate your interest in this topic and your participation today. And with that, I would ask unanimous consent that Mr. Larson be allowed to fully participate in today's hearing without objection. That is so ordered. Now I'll turn to Ranking Member Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.